Good morning and welcome to another episode of Back to the Past. I am Blair. It is late January. In fact, we're just a couple days away from February. My birthday coming up in less than a week. This area has changed quite a bit since my last episode. The month of January here has been cold for an extended period of time. The extremes haven't been real bad. I think 3 degrees was the lowest temperature that I've seen. But there was a stretch of about 3 weeks where it didn't spend much time at all above freezing. And in fact, this is the first year since I've been here that there's actually been frost in the ground that I've had to be concerned with. This area used to have a VW van back there that I've hauled away. It was one of the newer ones in pretty junky condition, so I hauled it for scrap metal. This old trailer now, it's been an eyesore ever since that I've owned this property, and today I'm finally going to get to tearing it apart. My propane tank's just on the other side. I've had 2 loads of red dirt brought in to level this up, and red dirt's got a lot of big cobbles in it, so it's hard to level up much, but for now it's level enough that probably the nicest spot I've had to park my truck since I've owned the property. So my plan for today, I've already hauled my 42nd load to the dump this morning, and I'm going to get the tractor in here and start tearing this old trailer apart. Now, I've hauled previously 3 or 4 loads to the dump that were packed inside that. I hauled the load that I hauled this morning actually came from the inside of that. Now it's time to see what it's like on the outside and how many loads I'm going to have to get rid of. Now, the siding is all aluminum, so that's somewhat worthwhile recycle. The top of it is galvanized sheet metal. That's not going to be worth as much, but I'll still haul it to recycle. And anything I can recycle, of course, I will out of here, just to save the dump fees, and I'll pay for my gas trip up to the recycle place. Get started here in a few minutes. The one thing that I thought would be easier, or make this a lot easier, is if I can move that trailer forward about 8 feet. And as old and junky as those tires were, 3 of the 4 tires I actually got air into and inflated to about 20 degrees before they started leaking back out. Gave me just enough time that I could actually roll that thing using the tractor forward about 8 feet. So kind of nice, but I got to be careful of the propane tank that now sits just on the other side of that as I'm tearing this thing apart. Get started in a minute. See you then. Okay, the next thing I'll do is to load up that air conditioning unit. It's been pretty tortured. I don't think there's any coolant at all in it. I'll move it around to my scrap iron pile, and then I'll go on to the other side. I'm going to try to push this over into my parking area here to where I've got a little bit better access to the siding on the other side, and then I'll start working on that. And something really interesting is that I found out through my work here that dinosaurs once existed on this website. I have a relic right here to prove it. Probably a place for an archaeological dig. See you soon. This has been just a dirty, really nasty job, but I've got the upper portion done. I tore off the flooring today and all the insulation that was in there. I've hauled 5 loads to the dump from this trailer so far. Got 1 more to go, and then probably 2 loads of recycle. So quite a bit of stuff out. I've got about $100 so far in dump fees. I'll probably have another $25. It's been raining. This what's left got wet, so it's going to be a heavy load to the dump. I'm hoping to be able to recover a good part of that money in recycle. I've got a fair amount of aluminum between the sides, and now this bottom section is all aluminum too, and although it's fairly thin and light, it'll amount to something, and we'll see what I get, and I'll let you know in the end. I'll go ahead and start tearing off this aluminum decking. I may need to hook up or I may need to get out the tractor in order to do it. The tractor has been really, really handy for me in being able to do everything that I've done so far. Goodness, there's a lot of traffic by here today. It's Saturday, and since we just went through a rainy spell, people are out to the park enjoying the weather. I'll get going on that now. The sun is getting low. My battery's dead on my grinder, so I'll work on this tomorrow. I'm down to just the frame and a whole bunch of cleanup. Now, if I had my cutting torch here, which I don't, it's in Colorado, this would probably only take me about an hour to cut up. But since I don't have it, I'm going to have to try a couple different options. First option I'm going to try, just because it's the easiest, is the Sawzall with a metal cutting blade. I hope that works. If not, I have a portable bandsaw that I can cut halfway through it, and then I'd have to take the tractor, flip it over, and cut the other side. That would be another option. I've also got my grinder with the grinding wheel, but this iron is probably heavy enough that that would take some time to do it. So start out with this. There are a couple pieces here that I plan to save. The 2 main beams running down each side, they're a 2x6 channel iron. I don't know how thick they are. I would imagine 3/16 maybe, but I'm going to save that. All of the cross members, they're actually fairly light iron. Those will all get hauled to recycle. I do want to save one of those axles, and the reason for it is the old Volkswagen that's just out of your sight on the right. That thing has no wheels on it, and I want to be able to move it out of there. I want to be able to move that one, actually both of them, back and out of my way so everything's kind of clear from here. I decided what I'll eventually do is just sell those for parts. I really don't have time to do any restoration, and they might have some decent value to them. For now, though, I'm going to have to get the tractor and a chain and a strap and lift and do some manipulation on this so I'm not getting my blade stuck all the time. So that's next. Good morning. Well, yesterday was my 70th birthday, and I spent a good part of my time yesterday in cleaning up this area. Everything that has to do with this trailer, I guess it was about a 30-foot trailer, pull-behind trailer, and it was the biggest eyesore I had left on my property. I've still got more, but that was the biggest one, and it's taken care of now. So, a recap as to what I did and what it cost me. First of all, the construction of the darn thing was such that you couldn't pay me enough to hook up to it and actually tow it behind me, probably even when it was brand new. I don't know how those things hold together, quite honestly. Probably the appliances do more for it than just about anything. There was a 8-foot 2x6 and 2x4 in the front of it that was nailed together at the base for part of the frame. There was an 8-foot 2x4 on the back side. Then there was a 4-foot 2x4 at each wheel well holding the wheel wells together. All the rest of the construction was wooden 2x2s, and they were nailed together with 2 8-penny nails. Now, an 8-penny nail is only 2.5 inches long, so going through an 1.5 inches and then 1 inch into whatever it's nailed to, and those were all end grains, which hold next to nothing. Honestly, the frame was really, really poor. The outside siding was all stapled to it, and that was aluminum, of course. And on the inside, there was a wall paneling, 1/8-inch thick wooden wall paneling. The ceiling actually had a wall paneling, or it had a paneling on wood paneling, and a pattern that was actually pasted over it. It was only about a 1/16 of an inch thick. The structural metal on the roof was like probably a 22 or 24 gauge structural, well, not structural steel, but a sheet metal roof, galvanized sheet metal roof. And that's basically what the frame was. Now, when I used the tractor to try knocking it over, it didn't take much of a bump for most of it to just fall over, with the exception being where the appliances are. And like I say, I think the appliances did a lot to hold the doggone thing together, because that was really the only difficult part of getting this thing disassembled. Okay, so what did it cost me? And what did it weigh? I had a total of 2,926 pounds of trash that ended up costing me $109.64 to haul to the dump. Then additionally in expenses, I had gas in my truck, a total of 8 loads, 6 to the dump, 2 to recycle. I figure about $80 in gas. So my total expenses was $189.64, or within a couple dollars of that. So far as income from selling recycle, I had 193 pounds of copper wire, aluminum, and a little bit of stainless steel, 720 pounds in the structural steel on the frame, and it was actually a little more than that because some of it I did keep. I kept both axles, and I kept most of the 2 main beams, which were 2x6 tube steel that ran the length of it. So there would have been probably another 300 or 400 pounds. So the total weight of the vehicle with all that stuff put together would have been probably right around 44, maybe 4,500 pounds. The stuff that I actually sold and hauled away was 4,139 pounds. Now, I recovered $167.02 in selling the recycle stuff. So 167 coming in, 189 going out. I really figure I just about broke even, because a couple of those trips were kind of multi-purpose trips. I was able to pick up things in Fayetteville that I would have had to make anyway. So I broke even on the demolition of this thing. But boy, what a blessing it is to have that eyesore out of sight. And now what I have to do is, off to the right of the camera here, I got 2 more trees I need to pull down, and those need to topple in this direction. I've got that horse trailer that I've decided I'm just going to sell that for recycle also. So once I get that pulled out of there, the only thing that I'll really have left that are kind of bothering me are the 2 Volkswagen buses. And then there's a little kind of put together shed back there that it's actually kind of handy, and I'm going to need it for storage, but I may end up rebuilding that somewhere else. But for today, I'm going to work on cutting down these last 2 trees. Then I've got 3 more piers to pour for the carport area. I have seeded with grass the area back by the tractor and some of the area in front of the propane tank. Now, the one thing that I can see from upstairs, now that that trailer is gone, is the propane tank. And although it's not really ugly, it's definitely not much to look at either. So I've got some bushes ordered, and I've got them just as small potted plants coming, that when they come, I'm going to go ahead and get those planted. They're going to be little butterfly bushes with kind of a purple flower. And I'll plant 6 of those there in front of that propane tank, and hopefully within a few years I won't be able to see that when I look out the window either. Thanks so much for being here with me. I really kind of enjoyed doing this. I really enjoy working, and I like making improvements on the place. It's kind of what my life is all about right now. So I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for being here with me. Goodbye.